Hey, Run, results time. Again, this is Japanese results. New sec just came out, so I think it's quite worth just to take a peek at what people are bringing. There is going to be a Japanese presentation. I think it should be tomorrow. And I'm pretty sure there's probably going to be another ban list, because if you look at the Bevsaga representation, it is still very, very high. I'm pretty sure this Chiho Cups have those diversity rules, diversity cut. But people still bring that Bevsaga, right? They go, okay, I'll just suck it up. We'll just take Bevsaga because it's still so good. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna get hit, but I think it's for the better. They're probably not gonna hit it too harshly. They never really like destroy a deck like totally, right? Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like there's so many decks that are available in the meta that can, like, right now the meta is just all about can your deck go second. Because most decks can win going first. That does let a lot of decks compete in a certain way. There'll be like a tier 2 deck that can still get some wins. But to become that tier 1 deck, you have to be able to get that, be able to play secondly, which is why you have like a lot of decks here that can play like aggressively, or they just kind of pop off on the grade 3 turn kind of thing. So let's kind of take a look what actually came first. We had the Bevsaga, Estachan, and Razel list, which is interesting. And then the next second place was just a Bevsaga, Kyrie, and Leonor list. Followed by a Kyrie, Dragonic Overlord, and a Manurva list. And then finally, we do have the Bevsaga, Heartlulu, and then a Zorga. Now, I'm gonna throw this out there. We're not gonna look at most of these decks just simply because there could be some meta shifts coming up. We'll be taking a look at some of the interesting decks. But we're probably not gonna take a look at the Zorga because if you check the results, they actually went like 1-7. So they didn't do very well. The other two people carried. So let's kind of take a look at the rest of the Swiss. There was diversity cut. I think one Elite Gleamer made it in undefeated. So it basically killed all the Elite Gleamers. As you can see, everyone is just bringing Bevsaga because it's so good. You know, but we still have like things like Blandemir. Actually, if you brought a Blandemir here, I think you just like died because one went undefeated, right? Virgil also very popular. But I'm pretty sure they're just like team killing by now. Varga, yeah. No one like Divines. I think Divines still went undefeated, right? So if you look at like the cutoff here, this is probably where the diversity cut stuff 7th place because nothing was here. But like if you brought Divine Sisters, I think you just felt sad. But I don't think anyone did. Right? I don't think that many people bring Divine Sisters. Maybe Varga. Like if you were a dreamer, then continue dreaming. But yeah. So if we continue on, like literally everyone bought the Varga, not Varga, well, bought Bevsaga. But it just comes down to like I don't think was there a Heartlulu and I don't think there was Heartlulu undefeated, right? So Heartlulu, quite a few of them then, and then Ava as well. Ava just killed all the other Avas that could have made top cut. But yeah, Heartlulu I think is a fine deck. Manurva here. Well, this is the 3rd place team, and then we have some of that. We have a Kaiser that made it, which is pretty crazy. It's an Archide, but yeah, let's kind of just take a look at some of these decks. I think a lot of these decks have potential even after a Bevsaga. But we'll find out. Right? We'll find out. So first off, this Razel. So what happened to Razel? They got like the new generic triple R that just, I think it's just perfect. You know, it replaces your draw engine. You can't play Surgeon, but this has the draw. This has the counter charge if you need to. It is pretty soul heavy. So that's just the one thing you have to be careful of, and then you can combo it with your previous Zilverus. But yeah, this deck does become pretty solid. They're even running a painkiller as well. But I think the new order, this order does it it binds. This is like the new like Keter, the new wisdom. This lets you kind of dig, can be played in the drop zone. So no like Teeth Felt built like that, but again, Teeth Felt uses more soul too, so I can see why you don't want to play it. And then you also run what is this one? Is this is Sanctitude. Okay, this is just saying this is funny Sanctitude. We have this in English now. We have Korokoro in English. That's crazy. But yeah. So I guess like your only soul filter is still your Nilberus, but I guess that's enough. I guess it's enough, right? Just soul in, draw. That's it, and call it a day. So Razel, like okay, those diversity cut, but I feel like, you know, if the power level goes down, I think you have a pretty decent chance with some of the new additions that it's gotten. And then we have the Estachan. I think Estachan's fine, right? Estachan will exist very well in a post Bevsaga list. I think the general consensus is that not that many people have been bringing it. But I think it's fine. Like, I don't think there's that much hate out there because there's so many other decks now that there's no point just hating on Estachan if you have a deck that can even like hate on it. So Estachan I think will be a perfectly fine deck going forwards. Also, we also have the Kyrie. So the Kyries are kind of split. I think probably a bit too harsh on Kyrie. There's both the grade 3 and the grade 4 builds out there. This one specifically is a grade 4 build. But I think because you have the new grade 3 now, you can be very aggressive early on. And because, you know, Bermuda just has a bunch of just cards that bounce itself in the game, you can just rush early as well. And that's one of the key advantages to Bermuda. Well, not Bermuda, Lyrical. Sorry, I'm getting caught up with the old system. You can just rush early. And then I think that satisfies one of the conditions that you need to be a good deck going to the next format. This deck does suffer from fake hand syndrome, but if you're not facing is like 60k power lines, like what Bavsaga is doing with multi-attack, then I think it's okay, right? You have a better chance of living when the power lines go down, or the power level goes down, and you can probably live through those early games a bit more. We have a Leonor that made it. This one is a Vivace build, but last week we saw some of the Mask builds as well do very well. In terms of how well it will do going forward, I think both builds will do fine. They both shown that they can perform very, very well. In terms of like why isn't it being shown as much at the moment? Because there's just so many better decks out there, right? We have the Alita Glima, we have the Bavsaga taking 2 slots already, and I have a feeling Alita Glima will probably get hit as well, just because everyone hates that deck. It's pretty crazy the universal hate that actually gets. But when if those two decks are ever gone, I think, you know, Leonor can turn out pretty well. It's got a lot of new tools. It's just been kind of overshadowed by just the better decks out there, really strong decks out there. You can technically play very aggressive with this deck now going second. Before you still could, but now you have like even like better rush tools, and they kind of convert into like a decent finisher when you're able to get that rush going. So I think Leonor, kind of a sleeper deck right now, but like, you know, people will be taking it as a third deck at the like exact moment. But if a ban list does come into play, it's definitely going to be a pick that I feel like a lot of people will take, especially because it's one of those trial decks that we're going to get pretty soon. Right? We're going to get those monster sets soon, and it's going to be a like easy entry point for everyone to get into, as well as being pretty strong, right? Next, we also have the Manurva. So Manurva has already been hyped up to be very, very good anyway, and is already showing some decent showings. It is a Keter build, so like they have been testing out the Nebula Knights order, which I think can be pretty hard to get. The price for this just continues to increase. But apart from that, you know, the rest of the deck is pretty straightforward. We have a new card that just makes the restanding much easier. You have, you know, Triple Drive. Triple Drive's always nice. Restander with a like decent front row. So you're even like, even with the original Manurva going second, you're able to kind of pop off already, and then just like kind of do your thing. So I think again, that's a very, very important aspect to have in your deck, and will just enable you to at least have a decent chance of winning going second. So Manurva, again, another great pick going forward, and already a decent one. Heartlulu. So this is the Heartlulu that went like, that basically carried the whole team. The deck itself is pretty easy to build. This order searcher is going up in price like crazy. So make sure to get them if you haven't gotten them already. They should have spiked when Liel Odium was like a thing, but now this is going to become a very, very hype deck in my opinion. This Heartlulu deck, especially if there is a ban list, even pre-ban list. This is going to be fine too. The deck is just, there's like one word to really describe it, and that is strong, right? It was already strong. You have, you know, multi-attacks, you have your triple drive, they all get decent power lines and also get pretty annoying dealing with it. So I think Heartlulu already another great pick to have post, if there was post-ban list, even pre-ban list. Yeah, definitely very strong. And then Regilla, you can't forget like this deck. I think this deck is like showing up quite heavily. I mean, I think this time we don't see it as much because of that diversity cut, but even like in the previous WGP, it was already showing results. People are already trying to make it work. The Flare, this deck is only running the 1 Flare Cosmos, which is pretty crazy. Like in the original builds, I see a lot of people running like a lot of copies, but yeah, cutting down to just 1. Also, this one only just running three grade 3 searchers in a way. So I don't know, that this one's kind of a greedy build, I feel like, you know, kind of a greedy build. And also just the 2 orders. The one of each order has kind of just been the mainstay so far in this deck. Just, I mean, if you lose 2 in the damage zone, feels bad, but it is what it is. The chance of it happening is very low, so you should just stick with it, right? You should just go with it where you run 2, so you have like slots for everything else. This does feel like a pretty, you know, teched out list. Running 2 defensing rolls, because I mean, 2 defensing rolls is just really, really good, right? But yeah, it's you can see that like there's not much space in the deck, because there's so many good cards in Dragon Empire you want to run. Like, do you want to run Consistency? Do you want to run Shenris? Just because, you know, the Shenris have insane value every single turn, which is correct. This guy wanted to run, I guess, you know, 4x of the Energy Cycler, which I guess works just to kind of smooth out your early game a bit. So overall, like, pretty nice. Definitely, I feel like it's scary, you know? Like, if Bav is ever hit, this deck I think just automatically is like a tier 1 deck. Like right now, I feel like it's already like a tier 1, maybe a tier 1.5 deck. It's like a really, really strong deck already. So I don't know. It's weird. It's weird, right? And then we also have the Divines. So just a quick look at it, how they really built it. I don't like, they have like the 1 Razel here. I guess just like the end game, you just reset your deck and you get the triple drive, you put all the crits back and all that. So that's pretty cool. And then they're running, I think, a lot of just 1 copies of the same card, just because it's just different rarities, right? And then nice of the Energy Cycler's Divine Sister, and then just more cycling. So yeah, I guess pretty fascinating how they made this deck work, and I'm assuming they did well. They could have gotten carried, but we have seen Divine Sister pop up quite a bit. So, well, not quite a bit, but enough. Like a couple of times for a PR grade 3 deck. So it's pretty cool. And then finally, we do have just the Kaiser. I'm quite surprised that Kaiser made it, but it is running like a rainbow trigger setup. You know, fronts, draws, crits. And then with the 3 Blitz order, allow you to just kind of delegion continuously to kind of stall out the game a bit more, or at least you live, right? You kind of resource out your opponent. Running like 2-2 split of the legions, and then a lot of the 4x of the Shadow Kaiser, and then Die Wing, you have like 3. These are all great attackers on the side. In a way, like if you think about it, because you're legioning, you have 4 front rows already, so you have a pretty decent like you can kind of run like different cards in the back that aren't really like GN Robos, you know, like. This one just powers up your front row, so that's nice. And then your back row can be like things like Glory Maker, which is already pretty strong. But then you can have things like your Baldur Reed, so you can kind of search more things. It itself gets power, right? So it's already kind of making up for the fact that it can't get power, but it gets like at 5k anyway, so it kind of works itself out. But then this lets you dig, which is pretty good. And then you also have just your die battles, because this is the only guy that gives you crit, so the crit's very good. So I guess it's kind of a way to look at it. Your front row is kind of set. It's getting power like that. You're getting decent power, even though you don't get Persona Ride. But then you kind of just like out-resource your opponent, and it turned out pretty okay. Maybe it's something to look out for in the future. When like I guess when Bavsargr and Alita Glima kind of hopefully gets hit, and then the game is kind of slowed down a bit. So I guess that's kind of just my thoughts on like what really popped up in Chio Cup. The new format I think is quite interesting. Of course, there's just some outliers that are kind of maybe ruining the format. You know, like they're not really ruining, but it's just a really good deck. That's why people play it. Yeah. But apart from that, if this is like reduced, think about how many other decks are just being played right now. It's pretty crazy. Even though there's Diversity Cup, but even like WGPs were showing up pretty well with all the different decks that are being brought. Mostly Dragon Empire though, because Dragon Empire best nation. Anyway, that's it for me. Quick video. We'll be looking at the presentation tomorrow, and you know, maybe another video will come out then. But that's it for me. A quick video. See you later, guys. Have fun with Shadowverse.